Well, Leanne Cusack has Steve Barkhouse in the house on this Halloween. Leanne.
Yeah, and it's pretty spooky over here, Michael. It's kind of scary. The table of death. I always thought Steve to be such a kind, gentle soul, but no, not when it comes to creatures or critters messing with people's homes.
That's right. Just on Halloween.
Okay,
Just on Halloween.
good to know. You've waited, you've saved it up, as I said, the bats and the rats. Before we get to what we have on the table,
Okay.
you have a great before and after, a little bit of a makeover to share, but it was a
Yes.
bit of a nightmare for the homeowners.
It really was, yeah. They bought the house. There was an addition on the back, as you can see. Home inspector didn't catch it, but it wasn't constructed properly. You can see the damage that was caused. It looks like they have squirrels and mice in there that are pulling it out, but it was really a result of moisture in the envelope, the building envelope, that rotted. You touch that structural beam, and it would just go to chalk. You can see the ant tracks running in there, so they had a colony of ants that just ate away the structure, and the building was basically ready to collapse. So we had to take the entire thing down and put this on.
So would those be just, look at what you put
Well, that's
on.
the treat,
That
right?
is beautiful. And of course, this is, I guess, indicating that you reinforce the bottom and seal
Full
things.
foundation. We got rid of the water. You can see the water rain barrel there. The flashing's done properly. We took the brick off the back of the house, which should be done, and flashed it properly so the water runs out onto the roof, not down through the brick and into the structure. So they got lots of light. We raised the ceiling. Again, from something bad, we hopefully got a nice treat in there from Trick to Treat. And yeah, lots of open area. And you can see the brick is missing from what used to be an exterior wall. They've got a pantry and a powder room that they were missing before in the house. So really made the space a lot more usable.
I really like showing those types of renovations because it's a smaller renovation that
Yeah.
makes a huge difference for the family, for the homeowners, and it also, you really had to clean up the messy act.
Yeah, absolutely. Thankfully, the ants had moved on to someone else's house, but it was a mess. We could not salvage anything.
So
We had to
were
tear it
those
down.
carpenter ants?
Carpenter ants they were? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
give carpenters a really bad rap. Hey?
Well, they were very efficient.
But what should a homeowner look for if, in fact, there's a fear of a carpenter ant
Well, we talked.
infestation?
Yeah. So they had a little bit of settlement in the addition, and they thought, oh, it was just settling, and it's going to be fine. But it wasn't. It was actually sinking. The wood was degraded to a point that it was just collapsing. So you're looking for sinking floors. We talked about spiders. Spiders aren't bad in the house, but they're an indication that maybe you've got a moisture issue. Maybe you've got another issue that you need to look at. Moisture in the building envelope is typically the problem.
Okay, now, and the reason we're having the spider conversation is in the commercial break, I said, Steve, what's the problem with the spiders? Why do you want to kill the spiders? And you said you didn't. You just brought them along because they're telling a story.
Right.
Always kind of look at them as cleaning up flies. But so if you have a lot of spiders in your basement or anywhere in your home, it is telling you that you should be looking for something else?
I
or
think
at least
so.
putting a dehumidifier in?
Absolutely, because if it's warm and moist and dark, which is typically where spiders are, that is perfect breeding ground for other insects and rodents.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about the other insects and the rodents and the arsenal Steve has brought along. We will do that when we come back because clearly it is Halloween and it's a pick your poison kind of a day, but some that aren't so poisoned to the
Exactly.
We're going to be back with that, Michael. Do you have any bats in your belfry?
No, not that I know of. I hope not. Let's go back to Leanne and Steve.
I believe Superman is trained. So
Yes.
that Superman really knew what he was doing. We're with another sort of Superman, Michael, the Superman renovator, Steve Barkhouse. And Steve has been sharing sort of what to do, what not to do, or he's about to tell us little things that can make a huge difference in keeping your house free of unwanted and uninvited guests. But we wanted to go back to the reno we shared earlier, Steve, because you wanted to mention building materials.
Again, keeping the house envelope dry is very important. So you see the water barrel there, so we're taking the water off the roof, keeping it away from the foundation. We've got hardy board cement siding, which
And is that in the middle?
That's the siding, yeah, on the side of the wall. So it's made of cement, so that doesn't incur any or encourage any insects to come in. We've got Trex decking on the deck. Again, a composite material that keeps the insects away. So using those durable products really makes a difference to keeping the insects out.
Great to know. And a lot of people would wonder, and I'm always the one who asks on your behalf, how much was that renovation, Steve?
That was just about $130,000.
And that included?
Full foundation, the removal of the existing structure, obviously, full foundation, and the properly constructing the exterior wall of the existing house.
Okay. Thanks. Moving right along
Yeah.
to everything that you have here.
Okay.
And you wanted to offer some tips on how to kind of discourage creatures and critters.
Yeah, and I think they're pretty obvious, but just to point them out again, food, if you have, this time of the year, mice are looking to come into the house, squirrels, all those guys. So if you've got food, scrape the plates, put them in the dishwasher right away, put your tins of dried food, make sure they're tinned up so that there's no encouragement for the animals there. Keeping the foundation in the house dry. Check your flashings, the caulking joints, all of that, so that there's no water getting into the barrier of the house.
When you say to recycle old paper, you mean newspapers and things like that?
Well, we do that, right? We have to, but don't keep it close to the house. It's the perfect place for nesting. All the animals, the insects, they want to nest in the recycled paper.
And another thing you shouldn't keep close to the house, and all of us do, firewood.
Yeah, and I know it's a temptation because you don't want to go far for it, but keep it away from the house. If it's up against the house, it's going to be damp. There's always bugs and critters in there, and they're just going to crawl right into the house. Let's make that more difficult, but 30 feet away would be ideal.
Okay, not so ideal if in fact you're stoking the stove, but better to prevent.
You can bring a few loads in and keep it inside.
If you're replacing your bulbs, this I didn't know, perhaps you didn't know?
So a yellow, pink, or orange bulb, especially around the doors, dissuades bugs, insects from coming into the house. They like the white light, they don't like the colored lights. So when you've got it at the door, it keeps them away. That's
Great to know. And you say become a handy person.
Just check outside this time of year. You should be checking your roof. You want to caulk and seal everything up. We've got some really cool products here based on that. We've got a foam product. So any little crack that you see, this goes up to 1 inch. Foam it in, and there's another product here that is an insecticide into the foam, so the mice won't eat at it, chew at it, because it's got a bit of an insecticide right in there.
Interesting to know. Now we'll go through sort of, let's start with the live traps.
Sure. So
for the larger creatures.
Yeah, and dissuaders. So we've got the sonic sounder that you plug that in, it drives the mice away and other rodents
Does that
as well.
work?
It does work.
How does your dog feel about that? Or
he's
house
not so
cat?
happy. It drives them away. But, so if you don't have a dog or a cat, it works great. Well, we've got the live trap, so smaller trap for the smaller guys. And if you've got raccoons, groundhogs, rabbits, you can use the big guy. You can trap them. And there's instructions right on the side on how to move them, relocate them, all of that, so that they survive.
The whole relocation program.
Yeah.
Now you have your basic never go out of style. Hasn't a better one apparently hasn't been invented. The mouse traps.
They try, and so different ones in here. If you're not, you don't want to handle the mouse afterwards, there's some disposable ones and things like that.
And if this just looks like a table of toxins to you, I guess in your experience, sometimes these are the only things that do work if you have nests of
Yes, especially the ants, right? You've got to spray the nests. So we've got different sprays here. This they'll put right into the nest. We've got the droplets that the ants will carry to the nest, but you have to get rid of the queen, you have to get rid of the nest, or you're not going to get rid of the ants. But all of these work.
And you're really excited. We have like 10 seconds left to talk about this one.
I love this one because it's non-chemical. It's a silicone product, and this other one is also non-chemical for the rodents. And it's just pepper, black and cayenne pepper. You sprinkle that around, and
so
it
the
keeps them
smell
away.
will dissuade them. They're not going to go blind or anything. I hope.
No.
Okay. Now, Michael, typically we have ants in our pants, but Steve brought them, and they're all over the table. This segment's made me really itchy, but thanks a lot. There's a link on our website to Steve.
Oh, all those little guys want to get inside as the cold weather arrives. Thank you, guys.